Good evening, everybody. This is Victor Kilo 4, Golf Romeo Bravo, Gary in Fairyland. Just stand by a second. Oh, my apologies. This is Victor Kilo 4, Golf Romeo Bravo, Gary in Fairyland. And it has just gone 7:30 p.m. Sorry about that. I hit the microphone. And 1930 hours. It is now time for VK4BAD BadNet. I'll change my call sign to VK4BAD for the Bunya Mountains and District Amateur Radio Club there. Okay. This is Victor Kilo 4, Golf Bravo Alpha Delta. Now listening for any call-ins. Go ahead.
VK4 Mike Echo Echo Gary. VK4 FAX. VK4 IJP. Echo Mexico.
Okay, we've got VK4, VK4 Mike Echo Echo, VK4 FAX, VK4 IJP, VK4 Echo Mike. Does anyone else want to call into the group? VK4 BAD? Okay, nothing heard. Okay, this is VK4 Bravo Alpha Delta. So far, we've got VK4 Mike Echo Echo, Eric, VK4 FAX Don, VK4 IJP Ian, and VK4 Echo Mike Merv. Okay, this is Victor Kilo 4 Bravo Alpha Delta, where the outside temperature is 9.5 degrees, 57% humidity, zero wind speed, and it's telling me it's going to be 1.4 degrees tonight. Well, it's just told me 1.1 degrees tonight. So it's going to be a cool night tonight. Okay, before we start the first round, is anyone else want to join the Bunya Mountains and District Amateur Radio Club's Wednesday night net? Call in now, please. Okay. Why is that doing that? Okay, VK4, Mike Echo Echo. Over to you there, Eric, and then over to you. Hand it over to VK4 FAX, Don. Don, hand it over to VK4 IJP, Ian. And Ian, hand it over to VK4 Echo Mike, Merv. VK4 Mike Echo Echo, VK4 BAD.
Yeah, VK4 Bravo Alpha Delta, VK4, Mike Echo Echo. Yes, g'day Gary and Don and Ian and Merv. And, yeah, been dry, no rain, my water tank's getting a bit low on it too. And you wouldn't want to start a fire around here. You'd lose control of it pretty quick, smart there in the mountains here. And, of course, you can't get trucks and that in. We've got to use aircraft here if we get a fire, so... Yeah, doesn't look good at all for this year. But anyway, we'll see what happens there. And thanks very much, Gary, for running the net there. And I'm not too sure what... I haven't been in touch, Ian, with Russell. I'll see what I can do there between now and the time zone that we have set up there. Yes, I received me fan for the 400, and it's doing a brilliant job. And also a bit of chit-chat for you there, Gary. My first Wires X contact, Kilo Golf 1 Zulu, Richie, and absolutely wrapped in it. So I've got that organised there up and going. As you know, I was a bit hesitant about jumping on, but I took the big jump. And there were several people there, and I wasn't too sure whether I was breaking in or not. So, but anyway, all's well. And there you go. Oh, and I got my new mic, my SM50 for my Icon. And that saves you holding the button all the time too. But anyway, good to see everybody. Don, VK4, Foxtrot Alpha X-Ray, VK4, Mike Echo Echo. Go ahead, Don, over.
VK4, Mike Echo Echo, VK4FAX. Yeah, good evening to you, Eric, Gary, Ian and Merv. Not a great deal to report. Chilled off pretty quick this afternoon. The breeze came in, I don't know, around just after lunch out of the southwest and really made a difference. And looks like we might be in for a few days of cooler weather. By the sounds of things, we've been pretty fortunate for the last 4 or 5 days, that is. And it's not looking good fire-wise around here either. You know, the grasses tend to dry, so just hope the cigarette smokers don't go dropping butts around walking through the park here. Anything could happen. I'll just break for a tick. The daughter went walking through the park yesterday. She's going in some sort of a 3-day walk thing, so she's doing some additional training to get herself up to it. And she said there's signs of the homeless been sleeping around the park here on the mountain. So I don't know what's going on. People are so desperate for somewhere to bed down now because they can't afford the rent. But it makes you just a little bit concerned about what they do in the dark time at night. So there was loose bedding and what have you down the gully here from us, and I noticed there was some bedding over on a table and chairs at sort of a lookout area out from from the northeast or northwest of our boundary, and just a bit of a concern. But anyway, we'll keep an eye out, and might have to let the big dog roam instead of putting him into bed every night if there's going to be undesirables around the ridges. Anyway, VK4IJP with the group VK4FAX, and thanks, Gary, for running that in.
Yeah, good evening, all. Thanks, Don. Gary, for Running Burnett and Eric. Just got a small question if someone may have an idea. Eric and I are going to have a look at Russell's antenna. He's got I think he's got a 3 or 4 band multi-spot, not multi-spot, sorry, trapped vertical antenna. Now, Russell was telling me there was a bit of wire that runs up the centre of the antenna through spaces so it sort of doesn't touch the outside, which would be the tubing, the aluminium tubing, with some frequency traps. So I've got zero experience with these an antenna like that. So it's got 3 traps, I think, on it. It's got some other little things, pointy things that come out of it that make it look like a trident. You know, I can't remember what was that thing, the fish thing with the trident. But anyway, so yeah, I would. I'm just sort of wondering if anyone's got any ideas about the construction of an aerial, something like that. And there's probably 50 different styles, and that'd be conservative. So, yeah, if anyone's got any idea, I'd appreciate it. Other than that, I haven't finished HF Radio. I got stuck around with doing some jobs around the yard and doing some other things. So, around the yard, done the house and that. So, yeah, things are happening slowly. Over to Merv, VK4EM and the BADNet group, VK4IJP.
VK4 IJP in the group, VK4 Echo Mike. Very good evening to you all. Can't help you there, Ian. If you know what the brand of antenna is, you could put it on the web and do a search. You'd be able to find the manual and the whole bit there, I'm sure. That's, of course, if you know what antenna, the brand of the antenna. Okay, I just got home here. I've had an interesting afternoon. Denise had a few things to do in the hospital this morning. Anyway, they rang me up later this afternoon, much later this afternoon, that she was almost ready to be picked up. And they said, I'll tell you how to find us. And I said, okay, righto. Yeah, I was there this morning and I've got all that. So I went there tonight or this afternoon and parked in one of their free parking zones for 10 minutes or whatever. And, there's what I'm looking for, the black doors, yeah, and there's the writing on the wall, yeah. And so I followed on, and then after that there was no more information on the wall saying which way I had to go. So I took a right turn and was totally lost. Ran into a fella, a wardsman, I think he said he was. And so, he's a PR man. And I said, this is who I'm looking for. And he said, okay. He said, I'm really not much help. I'm only new here. I've been here only 6 weeks. Well, I was that worn out. In the end, I was just about crawling. We went to one end of the hospital, to the other end of the hospital, to this floor, to that floor, asking everyone. We didn't find one person who knew anything. A lot of people said, oh, how can I help? Oh, I'm only new here. I can't help you with that. My question is, or was to them, do people ever, come here looking for their relatives and you never ever hear from them again and they're actually lost in the hospital, never to be found? And they said, no, we haven't really. A lot of people get lost, but we seem to, be able to sort them out or help them out. And they took me into one room and say, oh, this is your wife? No. This is your wife? No. Oh, back to you, Gary. VK4BAD in the group, VK4 Echo Mike.
VK4 Echo Mike, VK4 Golf Bravo Alpha Delta. Before we continue on, is there anyone else want to join the net? VK4BAD listening? Okay, nothing heard. My apologies again. I've got to move that mic to the side a bit. I keep hitting it. Okay, we've got we've got our normal turnout. I expected a couple of extras to turn up tonight, but compared to last week, tonight's pretty average. Okay. No problems. Anyway, it doesn't matter how many people are on here as long as we're having a conversation. Okay, now for the ones who are aware that I've had a little bit of a problem with my dog this week. Cyrus, I had to take him to the vet on Friday, and he's either got caught in barbed wire or grass seed. But anyway, he had an abscess about the size of a cricket ball under his throat. So they and took a biopsy of it and determined that it's only an abscess, nothing else, and gave me a whole heap of antibiotics for him. It's like playing Russian roulette with his teeth. I've got to give him these tablets twice a day, and he's not like I've got to disguise the worming and flea tablets. So to give him something every day of the week, twice a day, he's getting very cunning. He knows, he's worked out the last couple of days since Monday what time, and who says dogs ain't smart? He waits until a while. Anyway, before he comes around. But he's doing okay. He's actually starting to eat again at the moment. He's been off his food for a couple of days, and today I've seen him actually at his food bowl. So that's a good sign. Okay. And a word from our sponsor. Okay, before we continue on the second round, okay, let's see now. Okay, there's been some activity in the mornings I've been hearing. I haven't been able to get to the radios, but I've been hearing activity on here. There, but I've been getting a gist of what's been happening. Good on you there, Eric. Nice to hear that. As I said, you don't really need what I put up on the repeater, because you could do it from home if you got your own radio. But this allows what I do. It allows whoever hasn't got one on have the chance to actually talk to a couple of extra guys, and that it opens up the area a bit. Hi. Anyway, with that one, good to hear that. Don did get your mugshot. That's actually it's already done one showing there tonight. and I'm guaranteed he'll do another showing shortly. VK4IJP, Ian. Yes, yeah, you're talking about Russell's antenna. Yeah, as I said, I've been getting the gist of what's been going on. No, the only thing I can think of is either that could be, if it's a multi-band, it could be a butternut, BUTTERNUT, butternut antenna. That's the brand of the one I know of. It's a ground-mounted antenna. Uses external radials. That's tapped. It's got traps, not tapped. It's got traps. Yeah, other than that, I can't help you on that. And okay, with the guided tour through the hospital there, Merv. Yes, I've been in that kind of situation myself when I was up that way. Not a problem. Okay, before we start the second and last round, stand by. Before we start the second and last round, is there anyone else who wants to join in and say hello and put your call in now? VK4BAD. Okay, nothing else heard. VK4, Mike, Echo. Over to you there, Eric. VK4, BAD.
VK4, Bravo, Alpha Delta, VK4, Mike Echo, returning Friday there. Oh, God. Merv, you cracked me up, you did. Next time you go there, Merv, take a swag and a water bottle and a cut lunch, because you might need it there, mate, there. Oh, God. I tell you, mate, that's so funny, so bloody funny. And I know what you mean. I've been lost there myself. I got thrown off a horse and got admitted there with a broken arm. And I was in a pretty bad way. I was out the bush here. And they let me go, and I couldn't find my bloody way out of the place. All I wanted to do was go down the pub and have a beer. And I couldn't get out, but that's another story. I won't go into that. And, yeah, it's bloody dry here. You wouldn't want to drop a match or anything because you wouldn't be able to put it out. And, yes, Ian, I'm yet to get on to Russell, but when I do, but I'll throw some number 10 aluminium wire in there anyway, and we can always whip up a quick sloper there for him there to get on 80 and 40 and that. But anyway, I'll have it all with me when I go down there. But I've got yet to get hold of him. Haven't been able to reach him. Hope he's all right. But anyway, we'll see in the next few days there. And yes, Don. Yes, Gary. Yes, I got the gift of it now. And I'm a lot happier now I got the fan for the 400 because it runs extra cool with the fan there, mate. And I didn't hook it up to the 13 volt. I just used the plug that come with it, the 240, and left it at that there. I've already overloaded the bloody power supply. I got a 20 amp here, and I got 3 radios on it, so I'm going to have to buy another power supply. But, yeah, I might get a 30 amp next time just to run me HF radio. It sucks a bit of current, that radio, especially when you crank it up a bit. And that's about all from me there. And I'm disappointed you haven't got the radio going there. You got trouble with the PAs and that there, Ian, and the resistors. I noticed you changing them, so you said. So anyway, we hope you get it going very shortly there. VK4, Foxtrot Alpha X-Ray, VK4, 4, Mike Echo Echo. Go ahead, Don. Thank you.
Okay, Don. Thank you. 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 VK4MWE. Thanks, Eric. VK4GRB returning to the group. Yeah, I'm just interested to find out if you did find Denise there, Merv. You don't sound like you've lost her altogether, so you must have found her and got her home. But and then I happened to be in the office today and just having a chat to TP, and it's not good with that he's him and his wife have got the COVID thing as well. My poor old 92-year-old mum has got it, and she's been one night in hospital and they sent her home. But yeah, just having a text conversation with a cousin regarding her, her condition at the moment. But she seems to be battling through it. She's pretty tough, and the wife's been on the phone to her a couple of times a day and trying to make her settle down and sit down and behave herself and try not to do anything, because she's pretty determined lady, and we don't want to get pneumonia as well, so not at that age. So she woke up on Saturday morning, which was her 92nd birthday, with the COVID. So anyway, all's good at the moment, so she's on the mend by the sounds of things. Yeah, I was just going to say the deer are really on the rampage here now, chewing into most of the plants and that around the place, looking for any green pick they can get, and starting to ring bark a few of our trees. They're coming out of the park, of course. Not much we can do about it. You can't go dispatching them, being so close to town and what have you. So we just got to put up with the actual destruction of what, years of effort we've gone into planting trees and shrubs and things, just to have these rotten sods come and chew them down. Anyway, that's the joys of living in the out of suburbia area. VK4AJP with the group VK4FAX.
Thanks, Don. Yeah, you do sort of have to be a little bit careful and watchful of these. And Gary, good to hear about the dog there. I was actually just, when it went back to you, looking at last week's notes, and I saw a note there, and that's anyway, that's good. But it is funny at how, or interestingly funny, at how they can pick up some of the smallest changes in what you're doing, in terms of, usually just pulls the food out and gives it to me. What's he doing messing around? Just give it to me. Oh, there's something different here. I don't know what it is. I'll think about it for a little while. They are funny. And yeah, very interestingly funny. Yeah. But, anyway, mate, it's good news. The other thing about this aerial of Eric's, HLR, is I think it was possibly made, or it was sold by someone who worked out of their garage in Brisbane. If that maybe ring any bell of whoever it might be. I have sort of looked on the net for a couple of things about multi-band vertical antennas, and I sort of haven't found anything. So, yeah. In the hospital, Merv, pre-COVID, I was asked to work in Brisbane to assist a Brisbane guy in upgrading some payment machines in the medical industry. Yep. and I had to go into this hospital just on the northern side of a river in Brisbane. I can't remember the name of the suburb. And I had to follow coloured lines on the floor. And find my way around the place, and went to different buildings, went across the street, you know, in walkovers across the street, and I sort of found my way around. What I thought was going to take me about 2 hours took me about 5 hours. The parking fee was incredible, and I was just lost. I just couldn't find, and just asking people where, and I was looking for patients, I was looking for specialists within the place, and that just trying to find information where that was. Yep, it was very difficult and not a good experience, and no wonder I work in the country. I mean, it was actually sort of quite interesting driving around in the city. In the country, we might do 200 kilometres a day doing jobs, 250 kilometres a day. In the city, you might do about 40 to 50. Obviously, you use far less fuel, but it takes as much time as what it does to drive 250 kilometres, to drive 40 or 50 kilometres. So, yeah, interesting. But not that I'm scared of driving around cities or anything like that, but give me country highways anytime. VK4BAD. Oh, no, Merv. I nearly skipped you. VK4EM. This is VK4IJP.
Okay, in the old days, VK4IJP in the group, VK4 Echo Mike. In the old days, yes, I used to do a fair bit of work at the Toowoomba Base Hospital with stainless steel and all sorts of other stuff, and had a few blokes with me. And we were making stainless steel surrounds for the lift, or the doorway, you know, and they were fairly wide and folded up, and they were put on and all that, and levelled up and all that, then pop riveted on. So I was working on one, and you know, didn't have enough pop rivets. So I had one side done and the top done, not the other side. So I went back to our storage shed. I had a pop rivet, so you know, off to town I had to buy some. And when I came back, do you think I could find that lift door with the one panel done and the other panel not? While I was away, my friendly working mates, and they got some pop rivets from somewhere, and they riveted it on there and finished it off. And you know, I spent all day trying to find it to finish it off. And they anyway, and yeah, I also sheeted the boiler, and it wasn't too bad. It was sort of right over one side of the hospital, and had this big long walkway, and you know, you couldn't go anywhere else, and you had to follow it along and then get to the boiler. But yes, tonight or this afternoon, asking people. I was standing there with the wardsman. We're looking at each other, and I said to him, "We've been here before. We've been over this before." And he said, "Oh, we probably have." And then some young lady came along with all stuff hanging around her neck with photos on it and cards and all sorts of things, books under her arm. She says, "You guys look like you're lost." And I said, "Yeah, we are totally lost." And I said to her, "You know, we're looking for this place." And she says, "Oh, don't ask me. I don't work here." I don't know why she came over and offered. All right, Eric, on the water. No, you wouldn't have to take a water bag, mate. They got bottles of water all over the place that you can have for free. They got a nice restaurant there. You can, you know, you keep circling around enough, you'll come back to it. You sit down and have a nice meal. But oh, fair dinkum. You know, have all the corridors that look the same, and you walk into one and think, I was here before, you know, I've been in this ward before. And it's, you know, it was under a different name or something. Anyway, blame myself for being old and stupid. Anyway, great to hear you all tonight. And you too, Gary, I'm glad to hear that your best friend there is recovering. Yeah, ours here really get pampered and looked after. We got 2 wolfhounds. They're not pure wolfhounds, they're wolfhound ridgeback. And the only time they show their ridge is when they get annoyed about something that's in the yard here and shouldn't be, especially a fox or a couple of pigs or something like that. Don, someone was telling me very recently over the other side of Toowoomba, the southern side of Toowoomba, the deer population has gone crazy there as well as the wild pigs. And they said that they complained to the council and the council rounded them up or trapped them or something like that. I wonder whether that'd work around your area. I've never seen any deer around your area. And I usually go that back way and have a bit of a peer in that rough country. VK4BAD in the group, VK4 Echo Mike. Good evening to you all.
VK4 Echo Mike, VK4 BAD. Okay, before we close the net off, is there anyone else want to join the net? VK4 BAD listening? Okay, nothing heard. I'm trying to think. There was a shop in Brisbane on the north side. He used to sell antennas. Chris Craft is one I'm thinking of as well. That was an Australian antenna bloke. I'm not too sure on where he. I think he closed down around about early 2000s. He made quite a few antennas. Chris Craft, I'm pretty sure I've got that on my brain. But anyway, with that lot there, is there anyone else want to join the net before we close it off? And I'll put this back to general use. VK4 BAD listening? No, definitely not. Okay. Anyway, that wasn't a bad net there, fellas. Okay. There's not much else. VK4 KRS, Kurt. I know you're listening. So I'll say good evening to you as well. VK4, this is VK4 Bravo Alpha Delta for the Bunya Mountains and District Amateur Radio Club. We hold this net every Wednesday night. And I'll now change my call sign to my home call of VK4 Golf Romeo Bravo, Gary in Fairyland. Until the same time next week, take care of yourselves, and we'll catch you later on. This is VK4 Bravo Alpha Delta, VK4GRB. I'll now leave the frequency open for general traffic. Until next time, this is VK4 Golf Romeo Bravo, out.
73 is VK4 Mike Echo Echo QRT.
K4 GRB. Thanks, Gary. Catch you next week. K4EM, are you still there, mate?